In my talk today, I asked the question, how many people have had lost circulation problems? And there was a lot. I was surprised by the number of people that are seeing it. I know we're seeing it. We drill in a lot of different states, a lot of different areas, and we see it across the board, from California to Montana to Oklahoma, Texas. So lost circulation is becoming much more of a problem than it had been in the past. Because 20 years ago, there was very few places that we would drill and have lost circulation problems. But as we're pulling that water table down, as the aquifer's getting lowered, we're putting more stress from the hydrostatic head of the drilling fluid onto the formation, and we're causing a lot more breakdown. So a lot more losses going back into the formation than we've had in the past. Once you have lost circulation, it's a good idea that the first step is to pull up off bottom, pull up into a safe place in the wellbore to where you're not worried about that whole collapse getting you stuck in the well. So at least get off bottom, but I prefer to go ahead and pull up into the surface casing if it's bad loss circulation, and then call the engineer, whoever you need to notify that you've got lost circulation, because somebody's got to pay for this. A lot of times if you're a small driller, you don't have the money to go ahead and pay for it, and maybe the well owner doesn't. Maybe he's got $10,000 or $15,000 for a well, and you may spend more than that in lost circulation material. So you got to notify whoever's in charge. And then once that's done, then put your head together, figure out where your lost circulation is. Is it out of sight? Is the wellbore staying pretty close to being full? Is it a seepage loss or is it a total loss? Understand what kind of losses you have, and then mix your fluid while you're out of the hole, fill the hole up. And then when you trip back in, you want to go very, very slow so you don't break that formation back down, and try to work your way back to bottom. I also like to make sure that you have LCM on site ready to go again, because if you lose it, you want to be able to go ahead and start pumping drilling fluid products or mud that's already pre-mixed with LCM, so that it'll reduce the losses. Because any fresh water or any fresh mud that you put down there, if you're losing fluid, you're making that problem that much more severe. You're washing that formation out even more, taking the matrix out, and compounding the issues that could have been minute, but now they're huge. Many of our contracts, when we get ready to drill a project, we look for lost circulation clauses within that contract to see if that dime's going to be on us. I should say if that dollar's on us, because it's never a dime. But is it going to cost us? Are they giving us 3 hours lost circulation, fighting time? Are they saying, and how did they define lost circulation? A lot of contracts define lost circulation different. Some of them says total loss, where you have to shut down. Some of them are, anytime you have to add lost circulation material. And you need to know that going into the project, because many of our projects, we lose circulation from day 1 to day 13, 14. We're constantly having to add material just so we can keep drilling. And so there's a cost involved with that. So you need to know going into it, and especially if you know there's lost circulation in that area, you're going to add that to your quote, to your bid, because you know there's a high potential of losses. And a lot of times it depends on the contract. Some contracts say you can't change the wording in that contract. You can't write something in, so it's always better before you sign a contract to discuss this with the engineer involved to find out, can I change it? Can I add something? What are we going to do? Understand clearly what's going to happen when you lose circulation. Whose dime is it going to be on? Because there's too often that as a contractor, we've had to pay for lost circulation material because it wasn't in the contract. And the owner doesn't understand. He thinks it's the driller's problem that you had a loss. They don't realize sometimes that it's the formation, it's the ground that you're working in, and Mother Nature plays a big role in it.